This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is Not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit, Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
This is Ryleigh Rose, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the show at Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with On Dawn's Ryleigh Rose.
Hi, everyone. I am Ryleigh Rose, like James had just said. And I do want to go ahead and just start off and let you guys know to follow my social media, Ryleigh Rose. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram.
And where can we find merchandise?
Merchandise. So I'm in the process of actually working on a website for that, but that is going to be coming in some months. But we're not off the ground just yet with that.
So in the works.
Yes.
And where can we find you event-wise as well?
Event-wise, so of course we do have an event at my home promotion, Next Level Pro Wrestling, in the 2-6 Academy. We actually have one coming and done on the 22nd of this month, but I know this is going to be coming out after that, so our next event is going to be coming March 15th in Lumberton, North Carolina, and we are going to be at the Farmers Market venue. It's really great. We have so much amazing talent. I would love for all of you, if you can, to come by.
Absolutely. And you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to all her social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox.
Hey.
Alright, you mentioned it, Next Level Pro Wrestling. Can you tell us about your relationship with the company?
So I've been with the company officially 2 years in March. It is run by a locally owned wrestler. His name is Hang Time Tony James. He has had this company up and running since 2020. Unfortunately, I joined in 2023, so I was 3 years a little late. But we have some amazing talent, especially some people that you guys might know. We have our heavyweight champion, Jack Tatum. He is one of the best wrestlers that comes out of the Carolinas. We have our social media champion, CJ Evans. Again, another great, amazing, talented technical wrestler that comes out of North Carolina. And some of the women that we do have, other than myself, is Miss Cece Young. She's an up-and-coming star. A lot of people love her, hate her, everything in between, but you can't mess with her in-ring work. She's a very talented.
Well, I mean, would you be in the category of those who dislike CC Young? I mean, you have had quite the rivalry with her, no?
We have been in an ongoing war since I debuted. Depending on the mood, I guess. You can get the vibe where I like her, but on a different side, it's, do I really want to deal with her today? So it's like a love-hate relationship, I guess you could say.
So it basically depends on the day.
It does. It depends on, how much chaos does Ryleigh Rose want to proceed in? And sometimes I'm just, I just want to be lazy. But then again, I am a wrestler. We don't have time for that. So I always choose chaos.
Hell yeah. Well, speaking of choosing chaos, could you tell us about the advantages and disadvantages of being in the same profession as your significant other?
So I actually don't have a significant other.
Oh.
But I do have a tag team partner. He is Johannes Michaelis, the Freak Show. When it comes to being a tag team or just being friends in this profession, you do have a lot of ups and downs, especially if something doesn't go your way or anything like that. And of course, on many, many, many different occasions, nothing ever goes my way because Johannes always wants to be number one. He wants to be the one on top and everything like that. So, yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs, especially when you have someone that you are fairly close with. And you just want to try and do something sort of cordial together, but it don't always go together or mix well together because that person has their own things they want to do. So at that point, it's just tug of war all around, and it gets very annoying.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were a part of Freak Show day one, no?
I have been a part of the Freak Show since day one. Yes, I started out as his manager, and then I kind of, took a path, and I wanted to get in the ring, and I wanted to see what I could do. Of course, he didn't like that very well, but this is where I say, you got your own ideas. You want to throw them in the mix. So when that happened, Freak Show could see what I could do. And then he goes, okay, we'll play it your way. So we've been playing it my way for a little bit, but here recently, it's going back to the old ways, to his way, the way he wants everything done.
Kind of seems like there is an internal rivalry inside Freak Show, no?
I honestly think he's just a little jealous, but he's the Freak Show. He's my number one. I will always have his back no matter what. But on some days, you just gotta fight for yourself.
So, very much like CC Young, depending on the day, you either like him or dislike him.
You could say that. There's a lot of love-hate relationships that goes on. Yeah.
So because, like I said, day one Freak Show, was that just, that gimmick, pre-installed? Like, okay, this is what you're going to be, or was that something, like, that you chose for yourself?
So, I actually chose it for myself, and I will say it's not a gimmick, it's a lifestyle.
Apologies.
So, me and Freak Show, we both worked out of Cirque du Soleil in St. Michael's, Quebec, Canada. He was the ringleader, I was the strong woman, and things happened, and at the end of it all, it was just he and I. And that's kind of how it's always been ever since that started.
Okay. Well, another rival of yours is a one Sirena Veil. Can you tell us about that rivalry?
So, me and Sirena, it's been an ongoing battle. I haven't really seen her in a couple months, but I will give the girl credit where credit is due. She's very talented, very different. You know, I don't really know why, but the girl likes to try and bite people. She's tried to bite me several times, and I'm like, no, we don't do that. So, but she's a very talented worker, and I honestly believe she is definitely going to be going places here soon.
It kind of seems like the women's division is maybe a little bit lacking. Just, you know, I believe you're either wrestling CC or Sirena on most of these shows. You know, rarely does somebody come in. So, do you kind of prefer, you know, wrestling the same people over again as you are early on in your career, or are you really clamoring to fight new individuals?
So I don't mind, you know, wrestling the same people. It's really fun, but I have stepped out of my comfort zone here recently in the last year, and I actually went against the AP Audrey Allen for the very first time last August. Now, talk about a strong woman. That woman has it all. She has really good in-ring work, very over with her gimmick, and she can go toe for toe with me. I love that about her. Not saying I didn't knock the other ones. They have their own style of wrestling that they perform fairly well. But Audrey Allen and me, we literally went toe for toe in our very first match against each other, and it was diabolical. I loved it so much. I worked her a few extra times actually after that, and it's just beyond great. Another woman that I've only worked her once, and I hope that she comes back very shortly to in-ring work, is Sis Sasaki. She is freaky, very much freaky. I thought Freak Show was crazy. No, she is definitely something you do not want to mess with. But she is a very talented worker, and I would love to work her again.
Okay, so a little bit of both.
A little bit about.
Well, I think it's a good a good time to go into our next segment, and that is Ryleigh's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
So, I've been all in up the Carolinas here recently, but I did go to Tennessee one time back in October. Very first time out of state. I was beyond a little scared because this was a new female that I was working, and I was beyond scared at that point. I actually made Johannes ride with me because I was like, you're coming with me. This is going to be crazy. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. Yeah, I need you there. So we drove to Tennessee, and we were at Southern States Wrestling. I was working a new up-and-comer. Not so much like myself. She actually had came, I think, a year or a couple months after I did, and her name is Tess Warren. Now, the girl, even though she was just starting out in her career and I'd been in a year or more than her, I still appreciated how hard she fought. I appreciated every little detail that she gave. She is gonna be going places here soon, and even though I was terrified because, like I said, it was my very first time out of state, I didn't know what I was gonna get myself into. However, the match we put on was great, and I honestly would wrestle her again.
Okay, and was there anything weird, crazy, and bizarre happen on that?
Honestly, it was just the trafficking that was bizarre. But once we actually got to the venue and was able to, get to know new faces, because I've never been to this promotion or anything like that. So I really didn't know what I was in for. But I met some decent people, some bizarre, I will give you that. There was this one guy, I couldn't really tell you, but he seemed like he had the Joker theme, black and white kind of thing going on. That one scared me, I'll tell you that. But all in all, you just got to go on these road trips, whether you're scared or, thinking that you don't know if you're going to be good enough, you don't know what their talent's like or anything like that. That was more so the bizarre point for me, or the scared point for me, was just because I literally did not know what my first time out of state was going to look like. Even though I had a really great time, met some amazing people, it just scared the lights out of me, and I just didn't know what to do at this point. So, like I said, you get a road buddy and you go. And that's what it is to it. You just can't, psych yourself out or anything like that. You just got to go, you perform, you make sure that you look good. I always look good. But you just got to get the fear out.
And, obviously Tennessee, one of the bigger states when it comes to pro wrestling. Any differences you saw wrestling in Tennessee compared to North Carolina?
So there was a few differences. You train all the time, and everybody is really big on the basic moves that you're performing in. Your arm drags, your hip toss, your body slam, your suplexes, everything like that. I will say I took an arm drag from Tess, and it felt different because she was trained differently than I was. So when I took the arm drag, it just felt a little off. But of course, it's the training that's different. Trainers are, they're hard on you, and they're going to drill these basic moves into your head, which is basically one of the biggest things, especially being a pro wrestler. You definitely got to be big on your basics. So when I took that arm drag from Tess Warren, I was thrown off a little bit, just because there's a different way that I was taught, whether than she was taught, and she was taught by Mr. Pritchard. And I was trained by Hang Time. So of course, you just go with the flow when you're doing these moves and taking these moves and everything like that. But it's just like it in the middle of the match, and when I took it, I was just thrown off. But I got up, went back, and we were rolling again. So just the different training styles, no matter where you go, especially even if you're out of state, in state, there are many different promotions that will teach you different ways of taking these types of basics, even giving them. And it just amazed me, because just a little simple switcheroo of a thing that we practice on a daily, that we do every match, it's just astounds me because of how different it actually can be.
Was there any different in the crowd that you noticed?
So some of the crowds that I do locally at my home promotion, the biggest crowd I think I performed in was over 600 people. And of course, the bigger the crowd, the bigger the pop, no matter what you're doing or anything like that. If the crowd's into it, you're definitely going to hear them. When I went to Tennessee, it was a smaller crowd, but they still pop for a lot of things, especially the women's match. And no matter what size in the crowds, you're still going to be able to pop them. You're still going to be able to get your hates, get your cheers, get your everything, the woos, the ahs. It's great. So it doesn't matter whether it's a small crowd, a big crowd, a huge crowd. It's the vibe. It's the performance. It's literally just everything that you and your opponent make it. So regardless whether, like I said, it's a big crowd or a small crowd, as long as you go in there and you perform and put your best on, they're going to get into it no matter what.
Okay. Now, can you tell us about the custom Funko Pop of yourself?
Yes, I actually had a fan. She's actually from North Carolina. She did not realize I live here, and she had messaged me on my Instagram and said that she wanted to do two things. She wanted to draw me, and then she wanted to create a custom Funko Pop of me. I personally have never received anything from a fan up at that point. And she literally was like, let me be the first one to do this. And I said I would be honored. So she had made the Funko Pop, and when she sent it to me, I was in awe about it because, one, like I said, I've never had anything from a fan. Two, this is actually me as a Funko Pop, and I fell in love with it because it's just a treasure from a fan, and anything from a fan is a treasure. And that's something stating that, you know, you're going out there, you're putting in the hard work, you're getting in there, you're doing everything you can. Whether these fans cheer you or these fans boo you, the fans love you because this is entertainment to them. This is something that not many people can actually get in and do because it is hard work. But it just amazed me when she reached out to me and was like, let me do this for you. So I let her, and of course I fell in love with it. And then from here on out, I've had signs made. I'd have people coming up to me just giving me little trinkets and everything. And it's an amazing feeling because you literally have someone that's so, you know, dedicated to you. They're like, oh, you're my favorite wrestler, or anything like that. You're my favorite indie wrestler. And you're just in awe. And that makes you want to work harder to make sure that this fan, whether they come to all your shows or a few of your shows, you're able to go on and perform in front of them, and they are cheering you. And it's just the amazing feeling. So any and all trinkets, drawings, or anything are always accepted at my table, and I hang them up in my house, and every day it's just amazing to walk in and go, I remember when I got that. And you know, you just continue on and you get so many more things, and you just keep adding to the collection.
And that a drawing of you was very well done as well.
Yes, the drawing was from the same fan that made the Funko Pop. that was just amazing because she is very creative in her drawing expertise, something that I cannot do. So just having that, just having it at all made of me is just beyond amazing, because I'm like, that is very, very well detailed, and it's beautiful, and I will treasure that forever.
It's kind of cool, like, you know, you're making memories for these people in the ring, and they're showing their appreciation and kind of giving you memories in return, no?
That is true. I go out and make these memories, and for the fans, even if they only come to one show, if they come to all shows, you know, no matter what, it's just astounding to me because they put as much dedication into it as I do. And it's just, like I said, an amazing feeling to be able to do that, be able to stand in front of people, you know, crowds of people that you don't know, you know, you don't know them, but they know who you are. They've seen you, they've watched everything you do, and just hearing them cheering me, it's great and amazing, and I beyond love it.
And it's quite, you know, the feat to have, you know, to get such a connection with the fans so early on in your career as well. Like you said, I believe you're a year and 4 months into your wrestling career. What kind of difference have you seen in yourself from day one to now?
So when I first started out, it's really difficult because you are trained your whole life not to fall down. You know, you're trained your whole life to just keep getting back up. And that kind of does go into, you know, the in-ring work that, you know, all wrestlers do. But I think the one thing that made it so difficult for me is I was so used to, you know, just staying on my feet. And I can honestly say in the year, it'll be 2 in October, almost 2 years that I've been in wrestling, I have seen quite a difference in me. I'm willing to go up and not be afraid of heights. I'm willing to take moves that I never thought I would take. I'm not afraid to do what I used to. And that's the biggest thing that my trainer, Hang Time, does, you know, drill in people's head. You do it once to get the fear out. The second time, you do it right. So that's been the most biggest thing since I've started, is just going ahead and getting the fear out, because you're going to have to do it over and over again. So I've seen definitely a big change since I've debuted in ring than when I first started training, and just having that courage to go, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get the fear out, and I'm going to get it right the second time around. So that has been one of the most amazing things that I can actually say and thank Hang Time for doing that for me, because I was very scared at the beginning, but now I can get in the ring and go just with about anyone, honestly. And that's the biggest thing is, you know, you go to these different promotions and you can train with people, you know, the people that you've been training with may not be at these promotions. So of course you just got to get used to whoever your opponent is at the time and just go with the flow of how they do things. And that's one of the biggest things about being scared. You know, with me at the beginning, I was so used to being around the people I train with, then now I'm going to these promotions and I'm being able to work different people and seeing how they were trained or how they had, they come up. So it's just the fear of it, the fear that I had seen in myself at the beginning to where I am now. I think that is one of my major accomplishments that I now can say that I'm not over superly, but I'm getting there.
Was heights a big fear of yours?
So heights have actually never been like a very big, major fear of mine. But, when you do a top rope leg drop and it looks amazing on you and you keep having to do it, you just kind of like, when I first started doing the top rope leg drop, I was scared because I'm a bigger girl. I don't do much jumping or high flying moves, but that is one move that has stuck with me ever since I debuted. And it gets easier over time. So now it's just, oh, Ryleigh's going up top. What's she gonna do? Leg drop. And it looks great, might I add you. But of course, it wasn't always that way. It was more so you went up one time, you tried it. It looked a little wonky, but you kept doing it. You keep getting up and trying over and over again. And that's how you get your fear out. I've done it over 1,000 times in training and in ring, and it still gets a really big pop till this day. And I love it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm guessing your biggest fear now in the ring is getting bitten by Sirena.
Yeah, that's one of the fears. Yeah. Getting kicked in the face is another one, but when you're in this profession, things happen and you just take it and go on.
Well, I mean, yeah. But like, getting bitten can be prevented. Getting kicked in the face is going to happen.
That's why I run away when somebody tries to bite me. Or push them off. Either way, you get them off of you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Pokemon fan.
I am a big Pokemon fan. Wrestlers can be nerds too. I will put that out there. I do love the evolutions. My favorite is Vaporeon. I've been a big Pokemon fan ever since the early 2000s. And that actually goes to show you my age too. So, but I've always been a big Pokemon fan. I've more so loved the water type Pokemon just because I'm a big water lover. I love going to the beach. I love being in the water, pool, whatever you want to call it. If there's water around, Ryleigh's right there. But being a big Pokemon fan, I actually started out loving Pikachu, but then kind of shifted over. And after seeing Vaporeon, that's just been one of the amazing Pokemons that I love. So I do have a couple of plushies in it. I have a Vaporeon sticker on my car. Yeah.
Did you watch the anime? Were you playing the games? How deep does your fandom go?
So definitely watched the anime growing up. Collected Pokemon cards. Had a whole binder full of them. Would definitely make my older brother, go against me all the time. So it just kind of went through. You never fully grow up out of your favorite things. So being in my 20s and still loving Pokemon is like a nostalgia thing. I just love it.
Hell yeah. Did you have the collectible cards? Was it like, a collection, or was you just happy with what you got?
So I always made sure, or always tried to make sure, that every time I went to the store or whatever, I made sure my parents had bought me like a thing of Pokemon cards just to, build the collection up and being able to see what kind of rare cards you would have and everything. So it was more so, I just loved it. It was a big thing in my childhood, and I just did it for the collection, honestly. I can still pull out a binder that has Pokemon cards from the 2000s in it and being able to tell you which one is rare and which one's not. So,
What was your rarest Pokemon card that you have?
my rarest Pokemon card was a Pikachu. I want to, if I'm thinking correctly, but I always tried to, I had to be that person to go through like 40 different packs to find a rare card, but I never found a rare Vaporeon. Kind of mad about that.
Well, luckily there is something called eBay now that we didn't have back then.
That is true, yes. And believe me, I'm looking.
Alright. Can you tell us about your tattoos and if they have any significant meaning to you?
So I do have a few. Most of the ones that are revealed when I'm in gear is my arm tattoos. I am working towards a sleeve. A lot of fans can notice that I do love roses, hence Ryleigh Rose. So I do have a few roses on me. The big one on my arm is a dedication to my family, my mom, my dad, and my brothers that I do have on me. The reason why I put them around in sunflower and roses is because those are two of my favorite flowers. And of course, the people that mean the world to me are in that, I guess you could call it a bouquet of flowers. So it's just like my favorite people around my favorite flowers. And it's something that I look down on every day, or not look down on, but I look down on my arm. And these are the people that I want to prove, the best that I can be. These are the people that I want to, show that, this is something that you guys have made possible for me. And it's just a dedication to them. I do have a new tattoo. I don't think many people have gotten to see it, but I recently had gotten a Libra tattoo on me, on my forearm, and that's just because I am a Libra. So that kind of plays out in the demonstration of, when I was born, everything like that. But I take really kind to it because the Libra balances out in zodiacs. So, of course, I try to balance everything in my life, and I try to help the people around me balance things in their life. So that's a very big meaning to me. The other one that most of the fans do see is the one on my collarbone. And that one I got in my teenage years, 19, of course, sorry. And it says, life ain't always beautiful, but it's a beautiful ride. So it's one of the many meanings that mean the most to me, because no matter what happens, especially in life, you're going to have your ups and you're going to have your downs, regardless to whether or not some people have it worse than others have it better. I literally have always made sure that no matter what I do, I always make sure that it's going to be a good day. Even if you have bad days, you still got to see a positive outside of it. So that is one of the biggest meanings to me.
All right. And you mentioned, wanting to get a sleeve. What is next up on the agenda? What are you going to get next?
Honestly, that is the hardest thing to ask me, because I'm not necessarily sure. But of course, anything that I pick, any of my tattoos, they have a meaning to me. So whatever I get next, it's definitely going to have a meaning to me, and I'll be able to tell you when I get it.
So undecided at the moment.
Yes. But we're working on it. I promise.
Well, I mean, if you take suggestions, I mean, we just had a conversation about Vaporeon. Obviously, you really enjoy that character.
So that is an idea for my other arm. I'm actually going to have a Vaporeon put on there. Haven't quite got it drawn up yet, but I have an idea of what I want to do for that one. But just trying to get the first sleeve finished, and that takes some time. Unfortunately, with tattoos, with me especially, growing up, both my parents had tattoos and everything. So just knowing that, my father drilled it into my head at that point. If you get a tattoo, it needs to have a significant meaning to you to be able to explain to whoever says something or asks something about your tattoos. Like my mandala on my elbow. Could not tell you why I got it. I thought it was pretty, but it kind of incorporated with the roses and everything, and it just made sense to me. So it definitely brings a pop to a lot of people, especially because of the pop of color. I'm not a really big color fan when it comes to tattoos, my personal opinion. Not everybody has that opinion on that. I just want to point that out. If you have color tattoos, they're beautiful. They look great on you. Me personally, I've always been the black and white kind of person. But of course, my dad and also my tattoo artist wanted to make sure, hey, you need a pop of color somewhere along the line. So my tattoo artist kind of just threw in the blues in my mandala, and it turned out really beautiful. I love her dearly, and anything that she says goes when it comes to my tattoos. So I'm looking forward to probably more color in my sleeve when it gets finished. So I'm leaning more towards colors, but I still like the black and white.
Well, hey, I mean, Vaporeon has a lot of colors in it, so, that's going to definitely pop.
That is true, and I can't wait to actually be able to show the fans and be like, look, I have a Vaporeon tattoo, and I love Pokemon. Yes.
And some of them are going to be, we like Eevee. Unfollow.
It's okay. Look, you can like whatever you want to like. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not a judging person. I've never been like that. Some people get these tattoos that I would have never thought about. And I'm like, oh my God, that looks amazing. Who did it? Where'd you get it? And we'll go from there.
Alright. I think it's time for the colossal question now. Let's say they're making a movie about you. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
Okay, this is a very tough question, but my number one is definitely my entrance song. It is called Ready for Combat by Icon for Hire. That song means so much to me. It actually gets me pumped up when I hear it, and I listen to this on the daily, especially like if I'm at the gym or anything like that. That song means the world to me because it literally basically tells you the story of Ryleigh. I'm always ready no matter what. Whether I'm nervous, whether I'm feeling bad or anything like that, that song comes on, I'm up, I'm amped, and I'm gone. My next one, oh God, now you got me thinking. Nice. My next one would be Brutality by Motionless in White. I'm a big Rhea Ripley fan. And that song, just like Icon for Hire, does get me amped up. I definitely love Brutality. It just shows you how exactly strong someone can be. So that one is definitely a big one of mine. And my third one would probably be Legacy by Icon for, or not Icon for Hire, sorry, Motionless in White. That one kind of hits me because it's what type of legacy do I want to, have? And of course, my legacy that I want to have is definitely from my in-ring work and showing people, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can't be dominant. And especially in the profession, the wrestling profession that I'm in, women's wrestling has come a very long way. And I want to continue that legacy for people to be like, in many years, oh yeah, I know who Ryleigh Rose was. She was a dominant powerhouse in that ring and worked her tail off as much as everybody in that profession. So those are my biggest three that I think I would probably put in a movie.
Definitely a solid 3 picks to say the least. Now that we have the soundtrack down, everybody knows you get the soundtrack first, then you write the script, and then you go to casting. Who plays you? And you can't say yourself because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
Ooh, that would be, I guess one of the biggest stars, and she is a WWE wrestler. One of the biggest stars that I take from mostly is Piper Niven's. So to possibly have her play me, that would be astounding. I would love that so much.
Hell yeah. Now that we have you casted, every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be 3 people significant to you and your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
So the biggest 3 people I think I would put in my movie, especially being, throwing emotion in there. One person would definitely be my father. He's the one who actually got me into wrestling. He's the one who actually makes a lot of the belts for the promoters around North Carolina. And he has been my biggest supporter in all of this. If you ask him who his favorite wrestler is, it is Ryleigh Rose. Finding someone to play him, that is the hard question, because you have a lot of passionate actors out there that could probably pull this role off, especially if they are a father figure. The one person that would actually come to mind, and it's crazy, would actually be probably The Rock. Not just being one of my father's favorite wrestlers growing up, but of course, he is a father figure and everything. Or another person that I would probably love to see would be Ric Flair, because he has that supportingness for his daughter, who is now in WWE. So either The Rock or Ric Flair, between both of them, either one, I think I would just love to see the emotion that they could put in, especially with someone as from me that has started in this business, and they both have started in this business and have worked their way up to the biggest leagues. So I think those would be probably the best 2. The second person would be probably my brother, my oldest brother. He definitely actually told me this a few weeks ago, and he said that I'm the one that had given him that hope and that love again for professional wrestling, because even though he does not live in North Carolina, he still, gets videos and pictures and everything. And it's something that when he told me that, I became very emotional and almost cried, because that's something I'm giving that hope to not only my fans, but I'm giving that hope to my family, that they're getting the love back of wrestling. So that was just beyond amazing for that. But the person that I would have play him, oh my God, that that actually is a hard one to actually say. I don't know very very well because of, like I said, there's many different actors that are so passionate about their roles. It's just really hard to kind of like give him one. And then the third person, oh God. Honestly, I probably would say, even though it's a love-hate relationship, Johannes. Johannes has been one of the biggest supporters and one of the most non-supporters there has been in my career. But of course, without a shadow of a doubt, it's more of a best friend thing. That's my best friend. We have spats, we have fights, things happen, but he's been there since day one, so I gotta give him some sort of credit. But I actually have the perfect person to play him, and I think that would be what is his name?
Who was you thinking?
He played the Joker in Suicide Squad. I know his last name's Leto, but
Jared Leto.
Yes, I would make him play Johannes, and it's just because Johannes gives off Joker vibes, so I think that would be the perfect person to play him.
Okay. Definitely, this is definitely, seeming like a big blockbuster. Huh? And you could pre-order the tickets now.
Ooh. Sounds fun. I want to watch it.
You mentioned your dad was a belt maker for the wrestlers?
So he makes belts mostly around the Carolinas, but of course he can make any type of belt that you want. It does not necessarily have to be affiliated with wrestling. It is a wrestling belt, but he can put anything that anybody could think of on there. You can actually find him on Facebook. He is actually named Scorpion Belts. So he is really, really dedicated. He and his partner both work on these. My father comes up with the design of whoever, you send some pictures, he'll put things in place where they need to go, and then he'll send it off to his partner that then gets the belt ready, and then you have, a collectible item. It doesn't have to be a wrestling belt or anything. Well, affiliated with wrestling, but it's something that, you pay good money for it. I'm not going to say they're not cheap at all, but if you're dedicated and you want something that is definitely worth buying and something that's going to be a memorabilia to you, Scorpion Belts is the way to go.
But he has made wrestling belts.
Yes. Like any belt that you do have. He has made, with Next Level, he has made the heavyweight championship. He's made the social media title. He even, though we haven't seen it in a while, he made the women's wrestling belt. He's made a few other wrestling belts for other different promotions that, I may have been at. But he can make anything. I think they are starting to get into where they're making like necklace medallions. I think that was like a big project that they started sometime last year, and they're in the works of actually trying to make jackets now. So it's a big thing. I definitely am looking forward to it, especially because Ryleigh might be the first one to get the jacket. Just saying.
Winning your first title, is always, a big and significant thing, for a new pro wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But, what would that be like, holding a championship that literally your dad made? Would that add to that prestige to you? Add to that moment?
that would be definitely an amazing thing for me. I haven't won a belt yet. I'm working on it. But to be able to hold the title that my dad had actually made, I think that would be the biggest accomplishment yet, because this is something that my dad worked hard on, that, he and his partner made. And I think that would be a very big emotional thing for him, to see his daughter being able to hold something that he made, but not just had been given. This is something that I've worked hard for. I have bled, sweat, tears, the whole 9 yards for. And when that day comes, I think it's going to be an emotional roller coaster for both of us, because he made it and I won it.
And that's a great story right there. That's the ending of the first movie.
Be a great movie.
Hugging Dad with the championship. Smash the credits.
I think that would be a great, amazing ending to it. I think that right there just tells the story in all of it. I started wrestling because of my father. I continue wrestling to make my father proud. So that would just be, the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae.
Well, that's a great segue into our most controversial question, and that is pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
So people may think I'm crazy. It's okay. I'm a part of the Freak Show. It's there. We're crazy. But pineapple, to me, does go on pizza. It has both a sweet and salty taste, and it is the best thing you could ever have, especially if you dip it in ranch.
Okay. So we are pro pineapple on pizza.
Yes. A big person on pineapple on pizzas. Pineapple in general is great. My favorite fruit, so yes.
I believe you answered this question earlier, but what's your spirit Pokemon?
Vaporeon.
Okay, just needed a confirmation. We love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for Doug? THUG.
Okay, I'm really bad. Probably not.
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail. 'Cause a Doug can't spell.
Nice. That's a funny one. I'll remember that.
Yes, we love the late great Tracy Smothers on the show, trying to keep the memory alive.
Amen. Amen to that. I'll give any props, especially if it's keeping someone's memory alive.
For sure. Weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical Rock.
All I can say is The Rock is probably going over. I will wrestle the Invisible Man if it means putting on a great performance for my fans.
Okay. Well, just for context, there is a wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Iron Man match that lasts for 2 weeks.
I give props to him.
And he did not win that match either.
Like I said, The Rock always goes over. It's okay.
The Rock was the
Let's cheer on The
champion, so, champion's advantage.
Yes.
On a more
Pretty sure.
On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I hope to, any wrestler hopes this, but of course, making it to the big leagues. That may not be a 5-year plan, that may not be a 10-year plan, but that is the ultimate goal that you want to get to. So for the next 5 years, I hope I can see myself training more, getting better at what I'm doing, and learning a few more tricks along the way. I actually hope to start traveling more, being able to go not only to different states, but as well as different countries. I would definitely love to go to Australia. That's one of my biggest goals. Even in a personal aspect, I don't even have to be wrestling. I just want to go to Australia. So that would be the main thing, is just to get more experience and getting better in the in-ring, even out of the ring, getting better, getting to know my fans more. Having more fans would be amazing, because that just means I'm getting out there and showing them what I can do. And traveling would be one of the biggest things.
Yeah. Maybe talk to Joel Bateman of Smash Wrestling, who's in Australia.
Well, now I know who to contact.
Yeah. Tell him James J sent you.
I'll give you credit.
He's a good friend of the show.
Nice. I will keep that in mind. You got my vote, Jason. I will give you your credit where credit is due.
What is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what you are all about as a pro wrestler?
Like my opinion on the shows, like where to go?
If somebody wanted to know who is Ryleigh Rose as a pro wrestler, what is the match you would show them?
Honestly, I stick to my guns when it comes to being a powerhouse. I love just showing that, women are strong too. So I think the one match that I would definitely push would be Ryleigh Rose going against Audrey Allen. That shows two powerhouses in that ring. It's amazing when one of them comes off their feet, no matter which one, and to show the power, the aggressiveness, the muscles. I'll say that, the muscles, the brutality that Audrey and I were similar, but we're different in so many different ways. So I think that would be the number one match that people can, know that that's going to be a banger. That's going to be a great match, because you got two women in here that work their tails off in the gym, getting right and showing how much power we have.
And can we find that on YouTube?
So some matches are on YouTube. My home promotion, we don't show our matches, but you do get highlight reels of a lot of the wrestlers and everything, just showing off our great, our best moves that we can push. But there are some promotions that do post on YouTube. So there are a few, like World Class Elite Wrestling. There are a few with me and Sirena and Cece on there. You have, and Sisasaki was that one too. You have Wrestling with Purpose. They have some matches on there where, of course, me, Cece, Sirena. There was a triple threat tag match some months ago, last year, on there. Foothills Wrestling. They have the one with me and Audrey. So there's a lot of places that you can go on there. All you have to do is type in Ryleigh Rose Wrestling and you'll find it.
Is there one of those matches that you would recommend over the others?
So the one that kind of I wouldn't say like the most. I actually enjoy all my matches. But I think the triple threat tag team that I did with Johannes, and we tagged with Jay Wolf, and we went against Infamous, as they like to be called, but that is Jack Tatum, CJ Evans, and CeCe Young. So it was a triple threat intergender tag team, I guess you could say it. And that one I like because it was the very first time I ever actually did a match like that. So it just goes to show you that, you know, you have so many different people within this match. They're showing off technical, they're showing off power, they're showing off speed, they're showing off so many different styles of wrestling that it makes for a great match. And you wouldn't even know, because a lot of the people that you have, like you have me and Johannes, you know, we're tagging with Jay Wolf. Jay is a completely different wrestler than both of us. Even Johannes and I are completely different in our wrestling skills or the type of wrestling that we do. As I have said multiple times, I'm a powerhouse. I will just as much pick you up and throw you down, where you have Johannes, he's more of a technical type wrestler. So he's going to twist you every which way that you're going to be. Jay Wolf is one that can go up and do high flying, and you know, he's speed, so of course he's fast and he can do all these nips and tricks that I can't do. And then you have, you know, the other team, Jack and CJ. I would say they have they're both technical, but I give Jack probably more speed brawler type. CeCe is another good thing. She's more high flyer. She can do all these flips and everything and cartwheels and that whole glorious thing. So having these different types of style that are in one ring, it just makes for a lot of pop that you'll get from the crowd, because, you know, you would never think that, you know, that could happen. Oh, I didn't know that she could do this. I didn't know he could do that. And you're going up against the complete opposite of what you know. So of course, with CeCe, with me and her, she's the high flyer and can do all these little gymnastics, acrobat things where I can't. You know, I'm not going to say that I haven't tried. I have tried. But of course, I stick to my power, and I can stick to just picking up people and throwing them around. So it's an amazing feeling, just because you don't know what you're going to get yourself into, especially going into these matches, because the person that you're going against can be the complete opposite of you, and you got to figure out a way to put them down, or to, you know, lift them up, whatever. Lift them up, put them down, do it at the same time. It's great.
All right. Just backtracking a bit, Joel Bateman is the promoter of Deathmatch Down Under. He is the Smash hit, not the promoter of Smash. I apologize, Joel. Don't hit me over the head with a light tube.
Oh no, we need him. No, don't do it.
If that, going back to your match, if that is indeed on YouTube, I will grab it from YouTube, and I will put a link to it in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, for anybody that hasn't seen it, wants to see it, wants to re-see it after this interview.
It's a great match.
And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom. This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
I guess as ready as I'll ever be.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Mine personally, Carlito.
And that is cool.
Thank you.
Worst wrestler.
Repeat that, sorry.
Oh, worst wrestler.
Worst dresser? Ooh.
No, worst wrestler.
Worst wrestler. Oh God, I don't want to bag on anybody. Look, I'm not going to say it because everybody has their own way of wrestling. That's my answer.
So you're taking the default answer is what you're saying.
You can't be mean to everybody.
Well, you have chosen Eva Marie.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah, I guess. Okay.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
Ooh, I gotta go with my girl. I gotta go with Piper Nivens. That would power for power, y'all. That's great.
Oh yeah. If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be? Vegetable or fruit?
No, move.
Hmm?
It's a wrestling move. I squash people all the time.
I will accept that answer. New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
See, that's a hard question. Because I say, if you got it, you flaunt it. So, there's no ratio here. You just go with it.
Okay, so for to each their own.
Basically.
Alright. And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
So I have never had it in a supermarket, but me and the wrestling family, we watch AEW and we're like, what did he just do? So, I give Darby props because he can do a lot of the stuff I can't do. So, yeah, there's been a debate, though. There's been a lot of debates about Darby Allin.
And that is the correct answer. And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Thank you for having me.
And once again, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Ryleigh Rose, Ryleigh Rose 3 on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube, especially if you put in the search bar Ryleigh Rose Wrestling. And you can also follow me at my home promotion, Next Level Pro Wrestling. We are on Facebook as Net26 Wrestling Academy and NLPW, as well as on YouTube to find any of the upcoming events that we are going to be at.
Okay. And you don't even have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all her social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, simply Entertainment, okay?
Roger.
For our very special guest Ryleigh Rose, Calico Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.